Merry Christmas from the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric, and to my right, your left, my zealous, zany, zippy, zesty, zoologically zen wife and co-host who's always quick with a zing. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket Stay Alive. Maybe give it up for the best Christmas gift of all, Ketrin Porter.
I only question one of your adjectives.
Which one's that?
Zen.
Well, you're zoologically zen, which means you're at peace with animals.
Oh, okay. I'll allow it. Sustained.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We're here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 3, Episode 4, Beauty and the Beastesses.
Yep.
What did you think of this one?
I don't know. I feel like there was good stuff. And then I also feel like it was like after school special about domestic violence.
Yes.
And it was just like, I don't know. You know what? I'm curious about what's going to come out of my mouth.
I think that's the best way to go into this. A lot of show, like other than the beat by beat plot breakdown, which you have to take notes on just to keep us on track and tell the story. We don't really plan out what we're going to say here.
Yeah.
I'm often like sitting in editing going like, oh, wow, we made a really good point there. Like we just backed into something that was kind of interesting. But not knowing what I'm going to say is kind of the most exciting thing about this, honestly.
Because there's just so, like when you asked me, or even like when we started, I kind of start like going through the episode in my head like really fast and sort of like picking out moments. There are just like 14 different moments that like I could have my own podcast episode about that moment.
Yeah. I feel like, there's great stuff in this. Overall, it was pretty poorly written.
Yeah.
Sloppy, lazy, clunky.
But then it also had elements in it where I'm like, no, let's do this.
Right.
Why are we including this other thing in it?
We could have done a Jekyll and Hyde episode.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're 2/3 of the way in before they even introduce that plot.
Yeah.
And it's all done with exposition. None of it's seeded. The thing I always say is if you introduce a thing the moment it's necessary in the story, you've already fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, you got to drop some clues. You got to leave some breadcrumbs and then have something pay off in a way where you go, oh, that's where that was leading. And we don't even know who these people are or that the episode's about them until well into the episode. And then we've got this jar of green goo. But everything about the jar of green goo has happened in the past. We don't see any of it. We don't see the origin of the idea. We don't see him using it. We don't see it start to go bad. We don't. No.
Yeah.
Dumb. Stupid.
Yeah. And I was also thinking, I mean, we'll get more into it, but like they were clearly trying, maybe they were trying to seed it by making this particular green goo Jekyll and Hyde character like kind of a dick when we talk to him.
Your mom has the wattage of a Zippo lighter, Scott.
Except he just talks like Xander and actually kind of not even as mean as Xander. Like they actually gave Xander some moments in this episode where I was like, excuse me, like, please don't speak to me that way.
Right.
And it just felt like really... It felt like high schoolers were writing a play about domestic violence for a project.
I could see that. Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like to me.
I feel like it was lacking gravitas. It was very paint by numbers. It was very all the obvious low hanging fruit. I kind of felt like I did when they tried to cover sexual assault in Go Fish. Like the show didn't treat it seriously.
Yeah.
And so it felt like a cheap stunt to have this controversial issue come up, but they didn't treat it in a way that made me feel like they understood it or had anything to say about it.
I just realized what it reminded me of. I can't believe I didn't think of this. I literally was in a class in college that did this, and it felt like a Catalyst play. That is what it felt like. So you gotta
tell these people what you're talking about.
So one of the advanced classes that we could take as theater majors at Towson was called Catalyst, and it served a purpose. What we did was we wrote original short plays that we would then be hired to perform them at other schools around our state. So it would be about, social awareness, socially conscious subject matter. All of that sounds great. We would then have to do a Q&A afterwards as the characters that we played, so that people in the audience could sort of like have a discussion in a way that kept them kind of removed from it. It invited more honesty. Anyway, this felt like something that we would have written and just been like, wow, this is like so profound, like the metaphor of it, man. And then you go back and watch it and you're like, we were fucking high schoolers that didn't know what we were talking about.
Right. And the story about
college students, but basically,
the story about Catalyst that gets told in our social circle is, and because we hang out with a lot of people that Ketrin went to college with and studied acting, including Kim. They were college buddies, and our friend Vince, who comes over to watch football every Sunday. So they did a scene where a guy has sexually assaulted a girl, and Ketrin plays the girl's best friend, and she is now like coming at the guy for what he did. And in the audience talk back, Ketrin went after the guy so hard that the audience felt sympathy for the rapist. It felt like Ketrin was the villain of the piece, which is great.
That's a big problem. That's a huge problem, and I don't think it's with my acting.
No, we live in a society where that's
why was that girl being so mean
to the rapist?
Like,
we're laughing about a terrible thing. But so the story that gets told every time we get a few drinks in us that I've heard many times is just, remember the time Ketrin was so vicious on stage defending her friend who was assaulted that the audience turned on her?
Feels like a metaphor for first. Wow, that story in light of the world we live in is fucking dark.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to unpack.
Okay,
and we're not making light of that subject matter. It's
not
merely
at all the opposite.
Merely the the turnabout that was unexpected.
Yeah. So okay, let's get into this. So we start with a POV going through the woods, Evil Dead style. Poetry, voiceover, which Eric loves.
I loved this one. I thought this was good. I liked the performance.
Okay. So he's pro Buffy and Willow doing voiceover, anti-Angel.
I also like the poetry.
The voiceover morphs from Buffy's voice into Willow's voice, and then we see that they're reading bedtime stories to Wolf Oz.
The design of the Oz wolf is completely different.
You changed, man.
Yeah.
He looks almost more ape-like. There's a lot more expression on the face. Before, it just looked like a standard
Spirit Halloween
wolf mask that didn't move. This allows the actor underneath to convey some emotions, confusion, aggression.
And I had an interesting experience watching it this time because this design lives in my head. And I would always kind of be like, oh, that's such a dumb design. Like, it doesn't even look like a wolf. And then I was like, why the fuck do I think I know like what a werewolf would look like? Why do I think I know what that would look like?
You don't have to go from anything. Full man to full wolf. It can definitely look like some kind of, Sasquatchy beast in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. And frankly, you cross a wolf with a human, you probably get something that looks more like an ape.
Yeah. So I was on board. I'm
now pro this design. I used to hate it. Yeah. Wild. So many things. I experienced this show in so many new ways.
So Xander comes in to relieve Willow.
I commented on how much I love how mundane this whole thing is. These 3 nights a month. Willow is just she's treating it like Oz just had major surgery and she's his caretaker and she needs to go run an errand. So she has Xander come over while she goes and to the grocery store. It's so cute.
I thought of it more as like when we have people come to take care of our cats. We have to tell them, this one likes it when you pet them here, and this one wants to be fed in this room. And she explains that she's got towels up for his privacy when he changes back into Boy Oz.
Yeah.
So she doesn't see his full Oz Monty. Penis because they are above the equator couple right now. So she's seen him shirtless, and he's probably played with them Willows.
I mean, I guess Xander asks when she says half Monty, he says which half? But for all we know, they're Winnie the Poohing it.
Fingers could be going places, but
I think it's probably top
I think
half.
I think second base happens before third base.
Yeah.
Like they're in that order for a reason.
The other important thing to take away from this scene is that Xander's been working out.
He looks great. He's V-cut. He's got the
sure
broad shoulders. He goes to sleep instantly.
When I was first watching it, I was like, why didn't you just bring a pillow? I was like, oh, because he's not supposed to be asleep.
He's not there to sleep.
So now we go to Fuffy on patrol, and Faith is really trying to get Buffy to spill any sexual deets, and Buffy is suddenly a Quaker.
She even kind of dressed kind of chaste. She's in like a little
really
sweater.
Like, I get that she's not as like promiscuous as Faith, I guess, but she's not a nun.
Right, but she's also she's still keeping Faith a little bit at arm's length. That she was very suspicious of her last week in this girl's gonna single white female me and take over my life. So she's like, she's got to be here. She doesn't have a watcher. Giles is gonna keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
She's useful. I want, it's great to have someone else to help with the slaying, but they're not besties.
Yeah. They probably wouldn't hang out.
Yeah, they have a professional courtesy.
He's a friend from work.
Faith makes basically she's giving us the thesis of the episode in this scene where she's saying no matter how a guy presents himself, there's always a beast that lives inside of them, even if he really likes the English Patient or something like that. I don't know why, but the English Patient, I've never seen it.
Yeah, nor have I.
But like, I feel like it's all anybody could talk about when it came out.
Did you just see The English Patient?
Didn't you love it?
No. How could you not love that movie? How about it sucked?
Like literally all anyone could talk about.
It's a cultural touchstone.
Right? Isn't it?
And it's supposed to be like the height of sophistication and sensitivity. And so like
is it good? It won every Oscar.
I'm sure it's good.
English Patient.
It doesn't really I'm not thirsty to see it, but I'm sure it's fantastic.
Maybe for a trivia crypt, I'll watch The English Patient
and report back.
Okay. So anyway, they're patrolling.
Trivia Crypt on Patreon, our weekly minisode. Buffy's got a new thing that I like. She's got a thigh holster for her stake, which I thought was just fucking rad. I don't remember that lasting, but that's such a good thing. Like, why wouldn't you strap yourself up to have, like, as opposed to just keeping it in a jacket pocket?
Multiple stakes.
I'm on patrol.
Unless there are more stakes for a vamp to grab and stab you.
I suppose. And it's also like if you get stopped by a civilian or the police, you don't want to have like a big Chewbacca belt full of stakes.
Yeah, that's probably We now cut to a man being chased.
SED, not chased like Buffy is chased.
Oh, right. Yeah. Pursued and attacked in the woods and dragged away. We then go to school the next day, and Scott and Buffy are getting a little bit more acquainted with each other. They're very like kissy.
Yeah,
I see you in the hallway. It's very sweet.
He's a wee one. He's the same height as Buffy, so he's got to be about 5'3".
But he's taller than Seth Green.
Yes. But he's about a foot shorter than Angel.
Yeah.
And she's clearly in some kind of raised shoe. So they're not exactly the same height. They wouldn't wear the same pants, but they're pretty close. He's a little elf of a person.
As always happens when you start dating someone new, you all of a sudden have additions to your friend group that you didn't necessarily sign off on.
Yeah, they didn't go through your vetting process.
Yeah, honestly, that was... I'm so good at making friends. Like, my friends are so specifically great that was something that was always like... Ugh. When I was dating someone new, I was like, I probably don't like your friends as much as mine.
Well, I have a handful of, most of my friends that lived in other cities are still pretty cool past the vibe check. But you at one point referred to my LA friends that I had at the time we met as a box of broken toys.
Yeah.
So I think I was collecting wayward souls that needed a friend.
Yeah, which is very admirable, but I'm busy. So it felt very this couple annoys me, period. Like, aside from the way they're written, this is one of the things I could talk for 1 full hour about. The girl's haircut is so unflattering and puts her into such a specific category of like, this is a mom who just had her second kid and she really wants an easy do because she's got kids to take to soccer practice. Like, it's just very out of character. And the thing is, the length isn't even the problem. We could have just styled it differently, but they styled her like a mother.
Yeah, it comes in on the face in a weird way. Like, it frames the face in a very straight. It kind of reminded me of Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Like that weird ass hair.
Yes. And it just like, so I got it out. I got it off my chest. I can move on, but it was like very distracting. And actually, I remember this from every time I've watched that episode. I'm like, this girl's styling is taking me out of the whole fucking thing. But we see that this girl is carrying a posy of flowers that her boyfriend Pete brought to her. And then Buffy and Scott have a cute little exchange about whether or not they're up to flowers yet. And of course, Buffy has, we're pre-posy, which I think is so cute. That almost made my favorite line, but not quite. Because that to me, that's so Buffy. Later on, we have lines where you remarked like Oz is so good, or Seth Green is so good at talking like Oz, and the dialogue really fits Oz.
Yeah.
This kind of thing I feel like Buffy really does well.
Mhm.
We're pre-pose, like it's very sweet. We then learn that Oz and Debbie know each other. They're both in marching band or some shit like that, or whatever.
Marching jazz band.
Yeah. So basically she's like, can I borrow your notes? Because as we remember, if Oz shows up to class, and as Willow told us, he aces everything.
Mhm.
So
it's getting in there. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Once he's there, he's good.
He's good. So in the library, Giles is in full panic mode when we walk in, and we learn that somebody was mauled last night. Jeff something or other. Walken, which is what I thought it was, but then the subtitles told me it was Orkin. And they're like, who could have done this? This seems like a werewolf attack.
Xander's defensive because it was his job to keep an eye on Oz. He's like, well, it couldn't have been Oz. I was here. And he's like, and he's in a cage, and the cage has a window that is
Open.
which he missed and or wouldn't have seen Oz crawling out of because he immediately went to sleep.
Yep. And Giles is pissed.
Giles is very pissed. I realized Ripper steps into Giles's body whenever he's really angry.
Mhm.
Because he goes like, I hate this term. Can we think of something to say other than alpha? Because that term has been co-opted.
Right. No, he goes like 0 to 60 though. He's he's
dominant.
He's gentle librarian man, and then he's like,
Xander pissed me off in this episode multiple times. This is where it started.
Shocking.
I can't blame someone for falling asleep. I used to bring a pillow to French class. I'm so sorry, Mr. Buck. That was really, really disrespectful. You're not a great French teacher, but I was a worse student. So
Apologies all around.
It's the immovable object and the irresistible force.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah. So I can't fault Xander for falling asleep. But his hypocrisy in this scene was very frustrating, because we already know that he expects a hall pass for when he was a hyena boy. He awards no such pass to Angel.
It was a zero tolerance policy for Angelus's misdeeds.
Yes.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
But we now see that he also separates Oz from his werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And it is literally
the exact same thing.
The exact same thing. And I just don't know how he justifies that, nor can I understand why Buffy doesn't call him out on it 100% of the time that he says it.
He's playing favorites.
So Oz is really distraught because Oz literally has no recollection of what he does when he's a werewolf.
Right.
So actually, Xander's worse than...
Well, he remembers. I don't know that he was necessarily in control of it,
Oz?
No. Xander.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Oz doesn't remember
Isn't-
anything he does when he's a werewolf. So he's really upset because he's like, fuck, like I killed somebody and I don't like that.
We take all this effort for that to not happen,
Mhm.
and it happened anyway. That sucks.
Yeah. One of Buffy's stipulations for being allowed back in school is that she has to see a guidance counselor who smokes.
In his office, which is completely wild.
Guys, were teachers smoking in school?
Probably
was that happening?
Probably in the teachers' lounge. Teachers were smoking, but not in like just their office. This was very weird.
This was real weird. So,
and I said he sprays a little something in the air to get rid of the smell, but he doesn't pop a mint. And he comes around, sits on the corner of his desk, just a couple feet away from Buffy. He's like, "Don't be blowing that tobacco breath in my face, guy." Like I was very offended.
yeah, you were
by
very
that.
upset by that. I
grew up in a house with parents who smoked, and I found it the grossest thing ever. I never picked up the habit, and I found it disgusting. My entire childhood smelled like cigarette smoke.
Yeah. But other than that, this guidance counselor, Eric and I are actually wondering if he's in our network.
Yeah, right. Can I get an affordable copay to see this guy? He was awesome because
he was so great.
He did this thing where he could hear all of her walls, all of her distractions, all of her dissociations, all her excuses, and he didn't invalidate her or them. He would accept them. He would yes and her, and then make his point about why you still need more work.
Yeah.
In a way that was constructive.
And there's nothing wrong with everybody still needs more work.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with you that you still need more. Like, he was really, really great.
Great vibes.
Actually reminds me of my boss that I work with, who's an incredible social worker. Shout out to Chris. But as we know, Buffy really does need to talk, and she's not great about talking. And then in addition, it's hard for her to talk about what it is that's bugging her because she has to speak completely in metaphor. However, you brought up such a great point. Tony Soprano did it.
But he spoke in a lot of metaphors too. He had to explain to Dr. Melfi that there are certain things I can't get into.
It's a management problem. It's a situation with an underling.
What was it? Could you tell me that?
Caused the early retirement. Somebody else.
He couldn't get into this guy killed a stripper at the strip club
So
I
I
own and
took his
disrespected
thumbs.
the Bing.
Yeah.
So, but I thought about this. I was initially very kind of judgmental of Buffy. This is just occurring to me as I say this, for like keeping everything in because that is not. She's got this network of support.
Yeah.
But the last time she revealed something big to someone who wasn't ready for it, she got kicked out of her fucking house. So she's probably a little gun shy.
It always comes back to Joyce with you.
That's what I'll talk about in my therapy sessions with Mr. Smokington.
And you know who he never talks about? Where the fuck was Hank? Where the fuck was Hank?
We're going to get into some Hank. We're going to record the Trivia Crypt for Anne after this.
I'm just saying, why does Joyce get all the hate? Where the fuck is Hank? Typical. The woman is in charge of everything bad. It's bullshit. So
I don't think Hank pretends he's a good parent. That's the thing.
I think Hank,
Joyce has this facade of like, I'm the good one. I'm the responsible one. I'm the one who's in here day to day doing the work.
I think Hank
and then
thinks,
she falls. Hank has relinquished all his responsibility.
I think Hank thinks he is a great parent. We also learn later that he has not relinquished his responsibility. He actually does have visitation that he skips.
Well, we haven't gotten that in the show to this point. All we know is one summer he bought her a steamer trunk full of fuck me pumps to try and bribe her. That's the extent of parenting we've seen from Hank.
Great parenting.
I don't think Hank's a good parent. I just don't think Hank runs around trying to convince the world that he's a good parent.
I think he does. I think he tells everyone at his law firm and all of the side
Hank's
pieces.
a lawyer.
Yeah.
If I
Why do you think she's able to live in that house in Sunnydale while working at an art gallery?
If I went to a law firm and they assigned me a lawyer named Hank, I'm out.
Sorry to all the Hanks out there.
Hank's not a lawyer name.
It's not a lawyer name?
No.
Okay. What's a lawyer name?
He should be Harold or
Harold.
Henry, whatever the fuck his name is. Don't be Hank.
So what do Hanks do? What's a job for Hank?
He's a rancher.
A rancher. I was going to say mechanic.
Also valid.
Yeah. Anyway, so great therapy session on Mr. Platt's.
I called him Mr. Smokington. I don't know his name.
Mr. Smokington's part. Wonderful job. Library. They're all sitting around. Buffy wants to know what's up. Cordy gets right to the point and says,
Oz ate someone last night.
You did not.
I just love Cordy.
Criminally underutilized in this episode.
Yeah.
So much so that the show clearly forgot she is part of the show because they have to add a thing at the end where she's like,
Pete was a monster? Where have I been?
and then we get a whole exposition dump explaining a major storyline for the episode to Cordy and to us.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. We'll get there.
Stupid.
Oz is kind of like hoping that there's another werewolf roaming around.
Which isn't out of the question.
Yeah.
We know that at least his cousin is another werewolf.
Yeah, his baby cousin. Oh my God. Can you imagine trying to keep a toddler werewolf in check? That poor mom. Oz is very upset. Here's another line that I need to unpack for 100 hours.
Okay, you know that thing where you bail in the middle of an upsetting conversation? I have to do that. It's kind of dramatic, I know, but sometimes it's a necessary guy thing.
Join me for my podcast where I talk about just that line. The amount of information in that about our society, about how our society views men, about how our society views men with emotions and emotional intelligence, and like the way that he is downplaying the need to process information, and it's considered dramatic, like just the whole thing.
No, the walking out is dramatic. I felt like, one, Oz is super self-aware.
Yes, loved that.
I also think that it shows that he's like only a reluctant participant in some of these toxic masculinity
Exactly.
Behaviors.
Yet still participates in them. That's what I want to talk. Like, he clearly is above them. He's exhibited that he's above them. He doesn't just talk a good game.
Right.
We see that he's emotionally intelligent.
But he's overwhelmed, and he's only 5'4". He can only absorb so much stuff before he's topped off and has to go.
It was just
off.
weird for him to identify something that he needed to do, which was not express his emotions in front of other people, but then also say it's a guy thing, but then also not appear to be restricted by toxic examples of masculinity.
Buffy's
it
doing
was
the same
all
shit,
over
though.
the place.
Buffy in this episode doesn't tell anyone what's going on with her.
That's true.
And she doesn't get to blame her gender for it. This is an individual person who's overwhelmed. I think what I'm seeing from Oz is he's going, I'm an individual person who's overwhelmed. I know this is going to be written off by the observer as I'm doing that guy thing, but I can't talk anymore. I'm at my limit. I have to physically remove myself.
Yeah, it was just a really interesting line to me. So,
but he can't leave.
But he can't leave because the sun's about to go down. So he reluctantly goes into his cage, and then we see all of his shame because he just wants Willow to like get away from him, and says it in kind of a cold sort of way, but it's clearly from shame. So now that night on patrol in the woods, the werewoods, if you will.
I think I will.
Buffy is attacked by a shirtless being who is Feral Angel.
Yeah, he's given Hugh Jackman Wolverine vibes.
Yes.
Also, you know me, I get distracted by the dumbest minutia. When he fell back to Earth in the last episode, he was buck-ass naked. Some point, this feral animal got enough sense about him to go find some trousers.
Wait a minute. I've got it. They're in the mansion. Later on, we see that there's still some of their stuff there.
Right.
These are his pants.
Right, but what makes a wild animal go, wait, I can't go out in the world like this. I got to put some pants on. But then he's also got just socks, but no shoes. At least I think it was socks. We couldn't tell for sure, but he's definitely not wearing shoes.
I think he was barefoot. And I think what we saw later was the stunt actors
had some kind of covering.
Exactly.
That
I think
could
that's
be
what
whatever
we saw.
the case. He can't go into a restaurant because he's got no shirt and no shoes.
Yeah.
It's clearly posted in every restaurant.
Well, even if you were a feral animal, let me ask you this about dick and balls.
Oz run around with no pants on in a wolf form.
But he's a wolf form. What I'm asking is, to me, it feels like having 3 pendulous appendages flapping about as I run would be uncomfortable, even if
So
I
you
was
think you imagine he
feral.
got underwear as well? But I'm saying, do you think a feral animal version of Angel can think ahead to?
I think
Well,
he's.
I need to put some pants. Like it just.
I
seems
think
weird
he's
to
just
me.
going like, rah, rah, rah.
I just feel like we have to put him in pants because it's television. We can't have him. We can't be blurring him the whole time.
I wish we would.
But it's.
We showed his butt.
Well, it reminded me of when he gets his soul taken away after he bangs Buffy, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and we see him naked, and then he runs out into the street, and he's fully clothed
in a fucking 3-piece suit.
I said, I think we did this in our trivia crypt where he was just like, "Oh my god, it hurts," and he's like buttoning his pants.
That was.
Oh, where are my shoes? Ow, my chest, my soul is gone. What happened? Ow!
That's
on my shirt, my coat.
That's wild.
So I just don't know where it occurs to like feral
angel.
like subverbal Angel to go. I need some pantaloons.
Yeah. So anyway, meanwhile,
spent 10 minutes on that.
Yeah.
This is 1 second of the show.
Willow's at the morgue because they need to see what mauled up this bitch.
Right.
What did the body look like?
Yeah, they jump to the werewolf conclusion pretty readily when they live in a town that's full of beasties.
Yeah, I mean, they jump to that conclusion.
It could be fishmen. It could be praying manti.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could fuck a guy up.
I think at this point we're at the morgue because we saw that the window was open. So I think we're partly trying to exonerate Oz as much as we're trying to figure out what
exculpatory evidence here.
Yeah.
So she's got her little forensics
Scooby-Doo
kit in the
lunchbox.
Scooby-Doo lunchbox, the cutest thing ever.
So cute.
And she knows what to do. She's in there digging under the fingernails. She's
Yeah.
doing swabs.
It was impressive.
Especially didn't have like a little black light in there.
Yeah. So then Xander comes up and almost barfs. I guess we're supposed to think that the face is real mauled up because I was kind of like, you guys have seen grosser shit than this.
You've seen dead bodies.
And then Cordy comes up and startles him, and this is where well, he does have a great line. We're doing crime here. You don't sneak up during crime. That I loved.
Yeah.
Especially since Arik is having this weird thing where, like, if I'm not in the room with him, if I then enter the room, he jumps out of his skin. Like, you're terrified.
No, I tell you what it is.
And it's constant.
So stop it.
See?
So the way my office is set up, maybe we'll even put a video in here. I usually work in the dark and I've got 2 giant screens. So I'm pretty blinded by like the light coming off my screens and the rest of the room is dark. Also, the angle I'm at, the door is here and this little bit of my glasses blocks my peripheral vision. So she's going to show up in the dark, blocked by my peripheral vision, blocking glasses here. And then I've usually got headphones on while I'm editing, so I don't hear anything. So then she'll stand there sometimes for a 10-12 Mississippi waiting for me to see her. And I catch it and I do jump. I almost wish you could film me, but now that I know you're going to try to film me, we probably aren't going to be able to catch it on camera. But
so how do we explain today when I startled you in the fluorescent bright light kitchen with no headphones on?
I just didn't know you were there. And I look around and there's a person. You've never like mistaken a clump of clothes for a person?
Never.
In my case, it was an actual person.
I've never been startled.
That's simply not true.
I'll try and film it, you guys. So this was a scene where I was like, Xander, I don't like the way you talk to Cordelia.
Me either.
You want to go back to the car and wait?
No, God. He's just really harsh. And I gotta be honest with you, we meet his dad much, much later. Spoiler alert, he sounds exactly like his dad. Like, it's literally exactly the way his dad talks to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty dark. Like, I think this show, because we don't see it till later and we only kind of like touch on his home life.
Right.
We kind of go like, oh, Xander. But it's like, no, if you extract this, he is verbally
and emotionally abused
and verbally and emotionally abusive.
Right. Well, like we said last week, hurt people, or whatever. Recently.
Yeah, hurt people. Yeah, it's a bummer. And then in addition to the theme of this episode, to just have like all of these very specific conversations about abuse, and it's like, but then it's also just like, and then there's Xander,
and no one ever calls him out. Willow doesn't say you can't talk to her like that, because he's like, go wait in the car. Like,
go wait in the car.
Between Pete and Debbie and Xander and Cordy, if I had to guess which one of them was the abusive couple, I would pick Xander and Cordy at this point.
And oh my God, if Eric told me to go wait in the car, like I can't get mad thinking about it. That's not productive. Ripped apart by a giant animal is what they realize about this corpse. So
Willow does faint eventually.
Yeah,
eventually. She's the one that's cool and collected until she's had too much. She finishes her work and then her brain shuts off and she faints.
I don't think I'd faint from
gore.
Mm-mm.
I think that's true. We had a guy. This is a thing. We had a really bad car accident out in front of our house.
Oh God, I had no idea where you were going with this.
And we heard it. We ran out to the street. I go in to get my phone to call 911. When I come back outside, Ketrin is holding one of the accident victims. His fingers were like flattened and floppy and stretched out, and bones were poking through. Like, it was gross. It was horrific. And she's holding his hand up in the air so he doesn't bleed out. A stranger. She's just embracing him, holding his hand up. And then with her free hand, she's like, is there someone I should call? I'm going to take your phone. What's your password? I can call. You tell me who to call. I'll find him in your phone and make a phone call for you. Just cool as a cucumber until the paramedics arrived and took over. Like, it was really inspiring, and it was really like wonderful to see how kind you were to a stranger and just making sure his suffering was as minimal as possible.
Thank you. I think it's just, I have a lot of faults. I'm not good at a lot of things. I think for whatever reason, I realized that I, for some inexplicable reason, appear to be better, not better, but like I appear to be able to make moves in serious emergency situations that it looks like other people around me are struggling to make.
I think if I had to Dr. Smokington you, I think because you struggle with anxiety, so you run around at a high level of anxiety that surpasses what most people experience. When an emergency happens, you're already kind of here. The situation is here, so you seem less anxious by comparison because you've kind of always got this low hum of anxiety all the time. And so everyone else's anxiety spikes, and you're like, I'm very practiced at anxiety. Anxiety isn't throwing me out of my routine. In fact, anxiety is very comfortable for me, and therefore you're able to thrive.
Well, what a fun superpower I have. Cool. And I'm anxiety girl.
You just did the thing.
I did do that. No, because I was actually a superhero.
Okay.
It doesn't count. So Buffy has Angel chained up in the mansion, by the way, because he's feral and he needs to be chained up, and the mansion is still available. Eric is very confused about this mansion, but the thing is, we have a literal murder mansion on Los Feliz Boulevard that has been vacant for years, that is right on the road. And nobody can sell it. Nobody will buy it because it's a giant murder mansion. So I have no problem thinking that this is maybe even a little off the beaten path.
Right. I just think it's so funny, the idea of like someone coming to read the meter and there's like Angel chained up with no shirt on.
Well, I don't think there's any electricity in that place.
Or just anybody, a surveyor or a fucking solicitor coming door to door that doesn't know it's abandoned. Hi, yeah, we're collecting for such. You
never heard of
charity.
DoorDash, meaning it's the people who come up to the door, DoorDash for the vampires that live there.
Ah. But I'm saying he's chained up inside now. That's say nothing of the fact that vampires live there for months and having parties and moving in giant statues and sacrificing shirtless people to a statue. But now we've got shirtless Angel just hanging out, and like no one's ever come around to seek a campaign contribution, or the Jehovah's Witnesses don't show up to try and sell him on the Lord.
Everyone knows it's a murder mansion.
Realtor doesn't come in and go, you know what? Let's take some pictures. Let's see if we got any buyers. Like it's just, fortunately, this
murder mansion. By the way, Eric and I are on the same page. We would have no problem living in a murder mansion. If anyone has any murder mansions that they want to unload, we have $2. We have a hell chalk outline of Angel's body. where the clotter ring was that clearly was then absorbed into his skin.
I think he fell on it and went right up his poop chute.
Buffy goes to the library and she relieves Faith, who's on Oz duty.
Dancing around with the headphones on in what Ketrin thought was like a too on the nose bad girl outfit.
It felt like we went to Spirit Halloween and one of the costumes in those plastic bags was bad girl outfit.
I thought she looked fucking phenomenal.
I rest my case. Faith leaves and Buffy goes right to the card catalog. Next morning, Giles comes in with his coffee. Again, very mundane. I love that he just kind of like opens the cage. But guess who else fell asleep? Which you pointed out. Buffy also fell asleep in the
fools
chair.
can stay awake.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do as actor Giles. If I'm Anthony Head and I have to justify why I'm not mad at Buffy for falling asleep. Slayer Spidey sense.
You think had danger arisen, something would have called her from her slumber.
Yeah, and I think that that's reasonable.
Except Buffy slept through Angel coming into her room, stroking her face and sketching her.
Well, that's because she wanted to.
She's got some specific books.
About Akathla, people coming back from hell dimensions that may have been sent to them by Akathla.
She tries to blame Faith at first.
Faith and her books. I'm like, we've literally never seen Faith look at a book.
I'm not convinced Faith can read.
Yeah, and she's fine with that.
Yeah, I don't think Faith gives a fuck if you judge her for not being able to read.
Yeah, she's like, I'm doing more fun things. Cool story, me. So Buffy is trying to like talk to Giles about it, but being like, so I had a dream, which is very much like my friend wants to know if and you know, Giles is like, well, I don't think it's weird that you had a dream about Angel. I had lots of dreams about Jenny after she died. And Buffy's like, no, but like if it was like in 3D, if it was a 3D dream, like what would you think?
And it's like hypothetically, if Angel were to come back from hell dimension, like what would we expect?
And he's like, well, it's a hell dimension. You've been there with as Anne. And you know, time moves differently. So he's been there all summer, presumably.
Yeah, so if each day is 100 years, he's been in this place for thousands of years being tortured.
Yeah, so
which would fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah, and so Giles is like, so he's probably not going to be like at his best. And he's going to be pretty monstery, I would assume. And we'd have to give him grace for that, honestly. Can you imagine? If I spent one day in hell, can you imagine what hell beast I would come back as?
I think you going to the store feels like an eternity in hell for you sometimes.
Truly, yeah.
I also don't know that Giles is convinced that he's rehabable.
Yeah, he talks about two different kinds of monsters. One can be redeemed, or more importantly, wants to be redeemed, which is also metaphorical to the sort of micro issue that we're about to talk about within this episode of like the beast that lives inside of men specifically, that kind of thing. So it's definitely Giles being like, redemption is possible, but the person being redeemed has to be the one in the driver's seat. Otherwise, it's probably going to be the second type of monster, which is void of humanity and cannot respond to reason or love, which is probably how Giles would characterize Angelus. However, I'm going to give Giles credit here. Giles does know that he went to hell as Angel. He didn't go to hell as Angelus.
Yeah, he had been spelled.
Yeah.
He had gotten his soul back.
Willow then comes in early with donuts. And Eric and I realized that one of the many reasons that our marriage works is because he wants glazed and I want cake donuts.
Yeah, we are donut compatible. We will never fight over the same donut.
I fucking love it. I mean, it's not like I'm going to kick a glazed donut out of bed or anything, but like, yeah, I'm going to take the cake donut.
I would have to be in pretty dire straits to want a cake donut. The idea of a cake donut just makes me thirsty. I'd need a gallon of milk.
What are you talking about?
They're so dry and crumbly. It's not my thing.
What cake donuts are you eating? That's incorrect. I think you're eating wrong cake donuts or doing it wrong. Willow doesn't really want to say that when she went to the morgue, it looked pretty werewolfy, the mauling.
Yeah, it wasn't. Buffy wants to know if it's vampy, and she's like inconclusive. And it's like, well, vampire wound is generally pretty specific. It's a bite, it's 2 holes.
Yeah. So Willow doesn't want to have to be the one who tells Oz that, and Willow doesn't want to believe it either.
Right.
She's not like stoked if her, boyfriend's Hyde is it Jekyll or Hyde that's the bad one?
Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Hyde is the bad one?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense because Dr. Jekyll is the one making the potion.
Right.
Mr. Hyde doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
Now we go to lunchtime and Buffy has a flight of Jell-O.
So fucking weird.
I remember when I went through a Jell-O phase right around her age, actually.
I don't mind Jell-O. I mind that a school cafeteria has
a smorgasbord,
a rainbow of Jell-O options.
Yeah. So now we're sitting with my boyfriend's friends. God, I can't even sit with my own friends at lunch. Now I have to sit with your friends.
And even Scott admits they're terrible.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't really know these people. I just thought you'd like me better if I had friends. Like, they're his friends, but he's not feeling them either.
Yeah.
They're abrasive and annoying and boring and lame.
Yeah. We also learn that Debbie also goes to Mr. Platt, and she's talking a lot of shit about him in a very transparent way. Like, we know what it is that she's trying to avoid talking about, but she also is just like such a textbook version of someone who's like, oh, so like you're in need of the most therapy. Like, you're avoiding therapy so much that you're in need of the most of it.
Yeah, no, she definitely feels like she knows that society in general in 1998 looks down on people who need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just hack it on their own. So she wants to make it like, yeah, I have to do this thing, but it's super lame.
So lame. Yeah. But then Scott's a gem, guys. I don't know what's happening to Scott, but he's a gem. And he even says, he's like, I don't know how he's basically like, my mom says therapy's great, like to Buffy to make her feel better. And then douche McGee is like, well, your mom has the wattage of a Zippo lighter, Scott. So can you even imagine what would happen to this planet
if someone made fun of your mom?
If anyone fucking said that about Peg? Ooh, you know what? I invite you to say something about Peg.
You're looking for a reason to punch people.
Yeah, I've had this cocked and ready to go. Maybe it's for you. Merry Christmas.
I think Ketra might need to be visited by a few ghosts before this is all said and done.
I am the ghost, bitch. Oh my God. I want to make a Christmas action movie where I'm all 3 ghosts, but it's just me just like beating the shit out of bad guys.
Let's put that on the calendar.
I'm the ghost of Christmas future, and your future's in the hospital. Boof! That's great. I'm gonna go write this out.
Love that holiday spirit.
Buffy leaves awkwardly when he's like kind to her because she's still in her bad boy phase, man.
Yeah, she's
not ready for Scott. Regardless, like she's not ready for Scott.
But yeah, and why would she eat? I think I said in the watch on. Why would she eat In-N-Out when she's got steak chained up in the mansion?
Filet
with
mignon.
no shirt.
Pete then makes fun of manic depressive chicks. Hey, I take that personally. What is that thing you say? I resemble that remark. Buffy back at the mansion, and she's, trying to talk to him. He really does remind me of our cats when they're in fight or flight, like where they are clearly terrified, but their response to is going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's acting like. And
trying to get close, and he snarls.
Yeah, and even when like she touches him, he does that jump that the cats do. So now we go back to school, and our weird couple, my boyfriend's friends, are gonna make out in the janitor's closet that is also Pete's science lab.
Yeah, this is where things really start to go off the rails. We've got an intriguing, is Oz the killer? We've got a B story of Angel's back.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna throw a wrench into the whole thing, and we're gonna introduce green goo.
Yeah, the mason jar has been emptied. There's only a little bit left. Cut to Buffy talking to Mr. Platt, and she's like, don't turn around. I need to sit, which I know why they were telling him not to turn around, but I actually buy that from Buffy. Being like, don't turn around. Like, just
it makes it easier it's like sort of having the screen up in confession. You don't have to look at someone in the face when you're going to bare your soul. Unfortunately, because I've seen a TV show, it was so obvious that
yeah.
that it kind of there was no tension about what was about to happen.
Right. But we do see that Buffy is asking for help. And this really broke my heart because this is such a common thing where like someone finally gets up the courage or the motivation to go to therapy and something wonky happens with the therapy that is not indicative of the entire profession of therapy, but it immediately
puts you off.
Validates their, see, I knew it wasn't going to work. I knew it wasn't whatever.
And your therapist being dead is one of those things.
Yeah. And she realizes that he's dead because his cigarette is Shelley Duvall-ing. I can't believe you didn't even think of that.
No, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That's hilarious.
He's dead.
In the arms of the angel.
Back in the closet. I don't even want to talk about this scene. Fucking Pete gets mad because he thinks that Debbie drank the goo. She's like, I didn't drink the goo, but I was trying to get rid of it because I don't like how you get. And he's like, I don't need this goo to get how I get anymore because you get me how I get. And the way that I get is Mr. Hyde because you're dumb and you make me mad. So, okay, here's what happened, guys. You've seen it. This is the catalyst scene. This is the scene that college students wrote to tour around to other colleges.
To be very special. But it's so clunky because there's no indication that there's any Jekyll and Hyde happening.
Yeah.
This green goo doesn't exist in the show until right now when it's already gone and he's already moved beyond it.
Yeah.
And it's just so clunky. It's so dumb and weird and bad. And
it didn't work.
It blows my mind that this made it to television.
And it was, well, Inca Mummy Girl made it to television. It's better than Inca Mummy Girl. Go Fish made it to television.
Go Fish was at least linear. This was just like I feel like we're way too late in the episode to introduce this.
No,
plot.
I listen. I'm not defending this episode.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna kick this one out of bed, we got to kick Inca Mummy Girl.
I mean,
out first.
frankly, in order for this to make any sense at all, Oz has to see her black eye in the first act.
Yeah.
And then we have to wonder what the fuck is going on. And then we get a bit of an explanation. We can't introduce the problem, the premise, and the solution and the backstory in one
scene.
In the span of 4 lines of dialogue.
And then it was also just like very paint by numbers cycle of abuse. Again,
all low-hanging fruit, all first draft. What comes to your mind when you think of an abusive partner? The man blames the girl, then he's filled with remorse.
You know you can't make me angry.
You do this to me, yeah.
But now the girl is going to comfort him. Like, it's just, yes, that is the cycle of abuse.
But if you don't have anything interesting to say about it, then leave this subject alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're just going to use, because it feels cheap and exploitative.
Yes.
If you're just like, ooh, and then we know people will have a visceral response to a guy punching his girlfriend and then blaming her and then she comforts him.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything interesting with it, if you don't have a commentary, if you don't,
I don't know how to fix it, but this wasn't it. So back at the let's go to the library.
Anywhere else.
We're out of this closet. Let's go to the library. Turns out we know that Mr. Platt was killed during the day based on the fact that it was day and his time of death.
There was something about him being pureed. I know we talk a lot over the watch along, so sometimes I miss details. But
it was just that he was very badly mauled, and it was similar to the other guy.
Right.
They could map that the
but he was not pureed. He was mostly intact. He looked like he had a waffle iron pressed against the one eye.
Yeah,
like it wasn't great. It didn't look like it would be a good way to die, but it wasn't. It's not enough to make me puke or pass out.
Yeah,
frankly.
it was fine. Frankly, I'm a little hungry. So
you want to get waffles after this?
Yeah. Willow is very excited because she's like, it was a daytime monster. Yay. She's so cute. We see that Oz is like pacing out by the fountain because he's waiting for Debbie, who he said he needs to give notes to. She has a black eye. She's trying to hide it.
Fell into a doorknob.
Oz's EQ is high. Like, he immediately is like, girl,
This ain't
no, what's up? Old douche nozzle is watching from the shadows.
Because that's the other thing. He accused back in the closet. He accused her of whoring around with
they
other
all
guys.
do. That's what they.
But
all do.
we've not seen any indication of that. So again, we're being told a bunch of stuff that happened off screen before the episode happened, and expected to have an opinion about it and care about it. And even though like we know he's completely in the wrong, and we don't even know what he's picking up on.
Now, to be fair, this guy doesn't require it. Doesn't require any proof. Their paranoia, their insecurity is all the proof they need.
Speaking
so like,
of which,
I actually don't think that she's even looked at another guy.
Right. No, I know she has not. I mean, nothing would justify the behavior, but again, it's just all we know about them is they sit there and he makes rude comments to his friends. That's the only backstory we get on these people before they are now the center of the episode and have all these emotional stakes.
And there was they
failed to get me invested.
I just thought about this. Like, there were ways to see that this guy was like a serious piece of shit in like the little conversations. Like, I'm even thinking like they're pretend there's like fries right here.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting at lunch. Grab one of my fries. Even like physically hitting your hand or like pushing it away, we'd go, what the fuck's this dude's deal?
Right. To this point, before that scene, we'd never seen him tell her to go sit in the car.
You hear that, Xander? That's what I'm saying. Like, it just didn't.
Or if she just even has like even as cliche as this is, I mean, clearly the show's not afraid of dealing in cliches.
Yeah.
He goes to gesture and she just gives like the subtlest flinch that maybe only Oz or Buffy notices.
Yes. Now Oz comes into the library. Willow's super excited to tell him that it was a daytime monster. Now everybody is putting stuff together very quickly. So
and it's convoluted because the first guy that died, we don't know anything about him.
We don't know anything about him, but Oz comes in and says, no, Debbie and Jeff were in jazz march together, marching jazz or whatever the fuck. And they used to horse around. Faith immediately makes it about boning.
Right.
Which,
like, what is Faith into?
Yeah.
She likes it horsey style.
Rusty trombone. So sorry. Don't Google that. So putting all kinds of stuff together. Oh, she was also seeing Dr. Platt.
If the characters are solving a mystery by putting together dots we don't have access to, it's shit writing and I'm bored and I'm not interested.
Yeah. So basically, Jazz March, Dr. Platt, Black Eye, Pete's the monster. But we don't know how or why, because as far as we can tell, he's not capable of pureeing flesh. Cut to.
Well, we did see him. He does a whole.
That's right.
And he turns into a monster face.
We know that he's capable. They
just know he's punched his girlfriend.
Debbie's in the bathroom. She's covering up her black eye with makeup. Billow comes in, and Buffy. Listen, I know that Buffy has a mission, and people are dying, so there's a time constraint. But I'd love it if the first thing you said to a woman who was being punched in the face by her boyfriend wasn't, hey, you know how to avoid black eyes, don't get hit. You know what? I think Debbie has blaming herself covered.
Right.
I think we can meet this somewhere else.
And I think what Buffy was probably trying to say was get out of this abusive relationship,
but it didn't.
But it's
come out
harsh
that
and
way.
It's just a way to get her to get more defensive.
It also, this particular line, as I was watching it, the shot is of Buffy's reflection in the mirror. So we're seeing Debbie's face and then Buffy and Willow's face behind her. I watched SMG's face as she says that line.
Don't get hit.
It felt like a line that I'm not even sure she as an actress wanted to say, because it really felt like
she was half-assing it.
Yes. And it felt like she was like, this is the line I have to say and I'm a professional. Mm-hmm. I don't see a scenario where a woman, especially Buffy, who is a protector, would put the onus on someone else to not get hit.
Yeah, and the most charitable version of this is she's being glib and sarcastic because she's trying to break through the walls. Barrier. But even that's not kind or compassionate. What we know about Buffy is Buffy's very kind.
Yeah,
Buffy is incredibly kind.
She's not kind to herself.
She's kind to those.
She'll put up a wall to protect herself.
Right.
but she's going to be selfless with other people for
Mhm.
sure. So then we hear the old refrain of "It's not his fault, it's me. I make him crazy," which
Again, it's sort of like if you've ever seen this line in another thing,
then write something else.
write something else and have, again, I wish this show had something to say or something to offer, because I don't think it's enough. I think it's insulting the intelligence of your audience to feel like you're just going to put this scenario, which is such a charged topic and so potentially triggering to people, to say, oh, well, hopefully kids out there will see these excuses and be able to see through it. And that's enough to inform the audience that they don't have to take this. It just felt lazy.
Especially because the reason that is given for why Pete turned into a monster, obviously
I'd love to hear this, because I watched the episode. I'm not sure how
obviously
any of this works.
Well, it's not done well, and it also kind of is still putting the blame on her. It's asking the audience to do exactly what you just said, where it's like, but kids will see through this. It's like, except they won't.
Right.
When his
Kids are dumb.
reason that they say is that he made this potion so that he could be the kind of man that Debbie wanted, which is a macho guy. And I'm like, first of all, we have no that's out of fucking nowhere.
This story needs to start with him being a mealy-mouthed little pushover and getting pushed around or bullied and seeking. If that's the backstory,
Yeah.
we got to see it.
We got to see it.
You can't tell us the prequel and then the prologue and then the first 2/3 of the story in dialogue and join us here and expect us to care.
But even that, guess what I'm not super interested in, and guess what I've seen before? Justifying an abuser's backstory. Like I'm
not even saying justifying. I'm
over
just saying
it.
you have to show us what this was.
Yeah.
You can't come in this late in the thing and go, well, the goo is gone. Did you drink it? No, I spilled it because I wanted you to stop taking it. Well, the only reason I take it is because of you wanted me to take it, but I don't even need it anymore because I'm already the thing that you wanted me. Like, who the fuck are these people and what are we talking about? By
the way, Angel's still in chains, but the brace that he's on was not well secured and he pulls them out.
Yeah, but he's been working because he's glistening.
Buffy's still in the bathroom trying to get Debbie to fess up.
This goes on forever too. Buffy finally goes, I don't have time for this, but it's like, yeah, 2 minutes ago I ran out of time for this.
Yeah. Pete then comes into the library to confront Oz, who dared
to
exist near his girlfriend. And Pete changes and rips the door off. And Oz is like, I don't think you want to do this, man. Oh, turns out you do. But Oz hasn't changed yet. So Oz is getting tossed around like a little fucking rag doll.
Right.
Until the sun goes down and he's like, rules change, bitch. Which was great.
Push in, pull out on Monkey Man.
And you were very excited about it.
I was, because I said at the beginning of this episode, I was like, it's a shame we can't find out how to channel this and make Oz like...
And then we did.
A fighter of monsters.
Yeah.
Monster on monster crime. And then we get it.
And then it was
fucking fun and cool.
So everyone runs in, sees the monster were fight, and Buffy grabs the trank gun, but Debbie is there, and Debbie is still trying to protect her boyfriend. So she like pushes Buffy right as she's about to fire, and Giles gets shot in the butt. And this was great.
This was fantastic.
Really incredible pratfall. Buff is chasing Pete. He goes out a window.
And fortunately reaches back in to smear ketchup on the wall so she can tell where he went.
Yeah. Where Oz is barreling down the hall.
And this is cool. I love this.
This was great.
The way he gallops along and his movements. It's very fun.
It was really cool. Faith is chasing with the trank gun, as is Willow. Debbie then is the one who finds Pete in their secret closet, and Pete is gonna kill her for sure.
And there's a weird piece of graffiti on the wall in there.
Yes.
That you spotted.
Yeah, it says Debbie loves Johnny. Something tells me Pete got a couple licks in after that one. Buffy then finds where Pete went. She sees Debbie on the ground. Debbie's dead, I guess. Like, she feels her pulse. I guess I'm supposed to know she's dead.
Well, I think
also
by
is
the end of it,
dark.
By the end of it, yeah, Scott's all out of
Scott's like,
friends.
I lost. Yeah.
So
Monster Pete then attacks Buffy. So now we have Buffy Pete fight. Foz is now fighting on the ground.
But Faith has the trank gun, and rather than stay on the landing, providing safe distance to shoot him. She runs right up on him, so he hugs her and wrestles her to the ground.
Yeah, and
it was
so
not a very
now
good Slayer move.
They're fighting, and Willow does the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Does.
Where she goes up behind Werewolf Oz and just yanks his little tail. And she's like, get off her. And then he chases her, which gives Faith time to grab the gun and trank Oz. And Werewolf Oz gives this sad little yelp when he's tranked. It was so cute. I just love their little relationship. It's so sweet. I would take care of you if
I wolfed out.
If you wolfed out. Would you take care of me?
Absolutely, of course.
Okay. So Buffy is still fighting Pete, and she's getting her ass handed to her when who comes to save her but Feral Angel. Ferangel. And he kept his chains on, so he very easily, in ropes, wraps the chains around Pete's neck and breaks his neck, and we're all good.
And he goes up to Buffy afterwards, softness in his eyes, and he utters the word
Buffy.
And he drops to his knees and hugs her. And now it's like, oh, he's not the mindless animal. He's not option B in Giles's list of possible outcomes. He's redeemable.
Yeah. Guess what that also means?
Bye, Scott.
Bye, Scott. We hardly knew you.
In the arms of angel.
The next day, the writers realized that they could solve a problem by fixing another problem, which Arik alluded to, that we didn't have any backstory. We needed to deliver the backstory. Oh, right. We forgot to write Cordelia into this episode. So we'll have the Scoobies relay the exposition backstory to Cordelia because she wasn't here.
Entire episode to Cordelia.
Yes.
And Willow's like, and it's so heavy-handed. It's so much laying pipe. They're just like, oh, we went through his books and his things, and he's got this, and like, it's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is such a dumb way to end it. If you have to start the story in the middle of the episode with an entire scene of exposition, and then the only way the bit you've shown us makes sense is have another whole scene of exposition, you didn't do your job.
Yeah. Buffy goes and talks to Scott and, consoles him. He's out of friends. We then get a voiceover for Buffy where she's sitting watching Angel sleep, and it was quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's our episode.
Whew. There was a lot to digest there. There was some really cool stuff in there. I loved all the Willow Oz.
Yeah.
The whole gang dealing with the ritual around his turning.
Yeah, some really great stuff in there.
I loved all the Angel stuff.
Yeah.
I liked that, even though I didn't like this monster, I liked that Oz got to fight a monster. I liked that Angel got to fight the same monster.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that Faith just feels like she's sewn into the gang and has a role to fulfill, and it just feels like she's always been there.
Yeah.
And fits in quite well. So a lot to like about aspects of this, but unfortunately, a big chunk of the story is taken up by this thing that they handled so poorly, so irresponsibly, and was written so badly that it really tanks the episode for me.
Yeah.
I will walk away from this thinking this is not an episode I liked.
Yeah.
Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who did you have for best dressed?
Best dressed, I really liked Faith's patrolling outfit.
I liked that one as well. I have a three-way tie.
What?
Faith's patrolling outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Faith's dancing outfit with the headphones that you thought was too
Halloween
on the nose,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought she looked great. And shirtless Feral Angel sweaty edition when he breaks the bracket off the wall.
Listen, also great.
And who did you have for worst dressed?
Anything Debbie was doing wasn't great. Her haircut wasn't great. Capri pants with platform flip-flops and a weird striped t-shirt. Listen, we were all doing capri pants with platform flip-flops, but it
doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right.
Yeah. Doesn't excuse it. I had Willow in the same scene in the bathroom. She's got a green and red sweater, but then pants that are a different green than the green on her sweater.
I see.
Look like a Christmas clown.
Okay.
What was your best line?
Best line was Cordelia at the end saying,
Right. Now I'm going to be stuck with serious thoughts all day.
that's how I feel every day.
That was great. I gave it to Oz in the cage when Pete accuses him of making moves on Debbie.
Well, I guess you didn't think about that when you put the moves on Debbie.
We talked, yeah, but it was move free.
What I love about it is the show has a very distinct voice. Like they call it Buffy speak, the Buffyisms. Oz has his own subgenre of that. He's the only character who talks like Oz, and I feel like Seth Green hits it out of the park every time.
I agree.
And what was your worst line?
Oh God, anything Pete said.
I any of the abuse justification.
Yeah.
You make me crazy. Any
Hated
of that
it.
stuff. And then what was your best move?
Best move was the strangulation chain move from Angel.
From Changel. You mentioned mine already. When Oz is on top of Faith and Willow runs up and grabs his tail.
That was so cute.
Best move. And then finally, what did you have for most likely?
Most likely to start a podcast about the sexual escapades of Slayers. Faith.
I like that. I had most likely to regret killing off Dr. Smokington instead of giving him his own spinoff where he plays therapist to monsters and those who battle monsters, the writers of this show.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so we hardly knew ye, Dr. Smokington.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was really great.
All right, that's all we got for you this week. Merry Christmas in a couple days. Enjoy your holiday, however you choose to celebrate or not celebrate. But we hope you have an amazing time doing whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
We're going to be back next week with episode 5. We're like already well into season 3 at this point. It feels like we just started this show.
Yeah.
We are going to ask you kindly in the spirit of Christmas to give us a 5-star rating on your podcast app or leave us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Anything you can do to interact with this show helps the algorithm push it out to more people. We can invite more people to the party. If you're feeling extra generous, we have a Patreon, $5 a month. We offer every episode. We do a watch along before we record this, where we watch the episode and talk over it. Your 2 annoying theater friends ruining an episode of Buffy for you. It's only $5 a month. I mean, that alone.
Guys, you have $5. Give us $5 a month.
But that's not all. We also do a Trivia Crypt mini-sode where we do a baby deep dive into behind the scenes fun facts, anything we talk about that we didn't know the answer to. We look it up there. Sometimes we share your comments and suggestions as well. So, I mean, it's like so much stuff. We put out this show and then 2 pieces of bonus show every single week.
Yeah.
$5 really helps us keep the lights on around here.
It's kind of dumb if you don't give us $5 a month. Honestly,
we got a good cop, bad cop thing going on here. While you're checking things out, please check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive, maybe co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns. Although I think honestly, at the end of this week, I'm on another episode. Kim's on maternity leave. So we banked a few episodes and then I'm recording a few until Kim comes back. She's raising a baby girl right now.
Yeah.
And that show's on every Wednesday. Wherever you listen to podcasts, on social media at KKSam Podcast. This show's on social media at Major Slayage Pod. All right, we're going to get out of here. Check your list. Check it twice. Leave the cookies and the milk out for the fat guy bringing the presents. And until we see you next time.
Dust you later.